Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. I'm excited to share with you what I learned through my interview with an older adult. I'm going to get into a lot of these subjects more in depth further on in the presentation, but the one that I wasn't going to go so in depth in later was ethnicity. So I interviewed a woman named Santa Root, and she grew up in Spain and France and Germany until she was 12. And from there, then, from what I can gather, she came to the United States. I did ask her when she reports ethnicity what she would report it as, and she said, well, I'm white, but then she said that she actually prefers not to report anything. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So to touch more on Santa's education level, I actually have so much respect for Santa. So obviously she grew up in Spain, so she spoke Spanish, and she came to the United States in high school, went to high school here, and then she attended Stanford University where she got her degree in nursing, and she specialized in trauma, and then she went on to get a doctorate degree specialized in that same field. And she worked for at least 10 years, if not more, doing that, and she loved that. One thing about Santa that my heart goes out to her is she had a stroke. I don't remember how many years ago it was, but after her stroke, she was unable to do math very well, and as a trauma nurse, you have to be able to be very quick on your feet, and so after her stroke, she wasn't able to work as a nurse anymore, which provided some economic hardship for her and just some loss of purpose and meaning in her life. I did ask her though about her special interests, and she told me she loves to read. And she also told me she loves to fish, but she really can't fish anymore. But that is something that she always loved. And then again, she loves trauma. She loves working in that field, or when she was able to work in that field. So as I asked Santa about her most important accomplishment and her challenges, she told me that her Christianity and who she had become was her greatest accomplishment, even though she's very proud of what she did in school and all the people that she's helped. She feels like who she's become is really the most important thing about who she is. As far as her challenges go, she right now is not able to drive, and she didn't specify whether that was due to economic concerns or her health challenges. But as I was reading about older adults and driving, I was actually surprised to learn that a good portion of adults that are 65 years and older are actually still driving, which I was pretty impressed by. And so I had to wonder if maybe not being able to drive made her feel a little powerless among her peers. When we talked about economic concerns, she definitely said that she had some. So some of those economic concerns are just, she had her stroke, so she can't work anymore, at least doing everything that she loved, doing nursing. She is also taking care of her almost 89-year-old brother named Roberto. And so there are a lot of caretaking financial burdens with that. His medications aren't all covered. However, she is benefiting from her Social Security from nursing, which is a good thing. And she did tell me she was getting that, and so that's how I knew she worked at least 10 years in the nursing field, if not more. So I asked her about the impact of her ethnic background, growing up somewhere else and speaking a different language, and overall she told me that it had no impact. She also told me about her father who brought her family to the United States and basically required her mother to learn English really well within 6 months. Her father definitely believed that learning the language where you're at was very important, and that none of them were dumb, and that they all were capable of doing it, and that that was the appropriate thing to do. So if someone had, he compared it to as if someone goes to Spain, they need to speak Spanish or no one's going to understand them. And so that's why Santa has such great English and Spanish, and she feels like she fits right in and that no one has treated her any differently because of her background. As far as the types of contact that Santa has, she told me about two close friends that live in the apartments right by her. And she said sometimes they'll make dinner and take it to other people, or sometimes they'll just eat dinner together. But those are kind of her close friends. And then she also mentioned that she has two kids in the area. And one of those kids is her daughter, and her daughter comes about every other day, just kind of check on her and make sure everything's okay. She told me sometimes her daughter will go to the store for her, or her daughter will stay with the brother Roberto while Santa goes to the store, or while someone else takes Santa to the store. So it was good to hear that she had some supports in that way. She did also tell me, I asked her if she felt like anyone looked down on her for being older or treated her differently. And she said, no, I think I am treated just the same. And so she doesn't really take any different treatment from anybody else in that regard. So Santa also is a type 2 diabetic. And in doing a little bit of research, I found that about 25% of adults that are older, around her age range, are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So she's not fully alone, but still a little bit of a minority there. When I asked her what she had learned from that, the first thing she said without hesitation is just that she has learned to eat better. She said, I don't want any of my fingers or toes getting cut off, so I'm going to eat well. Which I love that about Santa. She has such a determined, positive attitude. I also asked her about her healthcare resources, and she said that caretaking and having type 2 diabetes, which her brother also has really changed the way she uses the healthcare system. She told me that she has social workers that come in to help kind of guide her about the best resources and how to use them, and she is using the things that are available to her, and it really has opened her eyes to the whole healthcare system. So my takeaways from my really enjoyable interview with Santa, as far as career goals go, I don't think that I would really want to work with older adults, not because there's anything that I have against them, but it's not necessarily my passion. However, she was super inspiring to me. Just the fact that she went above and beyond with her career and had so much passion for it. So in that way, I will take a lot away from this interview with her. As far as responsibility, I do feel very responsible. I have a very different perspective now on older adults, and I feel responsible to help them and make sure that they know what's available to them as far as healthcare goes. And citizenship, it also opened my eyes to how people can be really cruel to people of other ethnicities, and even if they're or if they're older people or younger people. So I'd like to just be a good citizen and include all those people. As far as takeaways with self-fulfillment, again, I was really inspired by Santa and how she just pursued all of her passions. And so that was inspiring to me, and I would like to do that. And again, as I mentioned, my perspective of older adults from taking this class has honestly changed drastically. I currently live next to my 85-year-old grandmother, and as I did the interview and I've been interacting with my grandmother, I've really come to appreciate them more and what they're going through. I feel a lot less judgmental and a lot less like pushing their needs aside. I feel a lot more attentive and capable of attending to their needs, both emotionally and physically, to help them have a really enjoyable aging process. So Thank you so much for joining me for this presentation. I hope that it was not too boring to listen to and that you were able to take away some interesting things.